Right now, at this very moment, 200 people are living their entire lives on a $3 billion structure in the middle of the ocean. They can't leave. They can't go home. Some of them won't see their families for an entire month. They eat together, sleep in tiny rooms, and work 12-hour shifts in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. This isn't a prison. This isn't a military base. This is a modern offshore oil rig. And what these workers endure to keep America and the world running is absolutely extraordinary. Welcome to life on a floating fortress where every single day is a battle against isolation, extreme weather, and the constant risk of disaster. Behind every gallon of gas you pump, behind every plastic product you use, there are real people, many of them Americans, living months at a time in conditions most of us couldn't imagine. These are the unsung heroes of our energy independence. If you've ever wondered what it really takes to survive on these incredible machines, you're about to find out. And if you have respect for the workers who power our nation, drop a comment below. Let's start with the basics. A modern deepwater oil rig can be as tall as the Empire State Building if you stood it upright. We're talking about structures that weigh over 50,000 tons, with drilling equipment that can reach 10,000 feet below the ocean floor. This is American engineering at its finest. The platform we're focusing on today is what's called a semi-submersible rig. It floats on massive pontoons but is anchored to the seabed. The entire structure is designed to handle the absolute worst Mother Nature can throw at it. And it cost $3 billion to build. But here's what most people don't realize. This investment isn't just about steel and technology. It's about the 200 human beings who make it work. These platforms operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There are no weekends. There are no holidays. Every person on that rig has a specific role, from roughnecks handling heavy drilling equipment to engineers monitoring pressure levels, from crane operators to medics ready for emergencies. These men and women are the backbone of American energy production. If even one person fails to do their job, the entire operation can grind to a halt, or worse, end in catastrophe. So who are these 200 people? They come from all walks of life. Young guys fresh out of technical school in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, looking to make serious money and build a future. Experienced veterans who've been doing this for 30 years, providing for their families. Engineers with advanced degrees from top universities. Skilled tradesmen, electricians, mechanics, welders, many of them second or third generation oil workers. What unites them all is this. They're willing to sacrifice months away from home, living in cramped quarters, working brutal hours, all to keep our economy moving. These are hardworking Americans doing what needs to be done. Now let's talk about how these workers actually get to the rig. Most offshore platforms are located 50 to 200 miles from the nearest coastline, deep in the Gulf of America or off the coast of Alaska. The only way on or off is by helicopter. Picture this. You wake up at 4 a.m. at a coastal heliport. You're carrying a small bag with everything you'll need for the next 28 days, because that's the standard rotation. 4 weeks on the rig, then 4 weeks back home. You board a Sikorsky helicopter with about 15 other workers. The flight takes 90 minutes over nothing but open ocean. Then, suddenly, there it is. A massive steel structure rising from the sea, lights blazing, the American flag flying proudly at the top, looking like some kind of industrial fortress dropped in the middle of nowhere. The helicopter lands on the helideck, a bright yellow pad on top of the rig. Everyone grabs their bags and runs, heads down, away from the rotors. Welcome to your home for the next month. There's no turning back now. That helicopter is your only link to the outside world, and it only comes a few times a week. Weather permitting, let's talk about where these 200 people actually sleep. Forget any notion of privacy. Most workers share cabins with 2 or 3 other people. We're talking about rooms that are roughly 10 feet by 12 feet. You've got bunk beds bolted to the walls, a small desk, maybe a locker for your belongings. The mattresses are thin. The walls are metal. You can hear everything. The offshore installation manager, basically the captain of the rig, might get his own cabin with a private bathroom. But for the average worker, you're packed in tight. They don't complain, though. They know what they signed up for, and they take pride in the work. Here's the thing, though. You're not in that cabin much except to sleep. The work schedule is intense. Most offshore workers operate on a 12-hour shift rotation. You're either working days, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., or nights, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and you do this every single day for 28 days straight. No weekends off. No sick days unless you're seriously injured. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Repeat. During your 12 hours off, you need to eat, shower, maybe exercise, and sleep. It doesn't leave much downtime. But these workers push through because they understand that America depends on them. Speaking of pay, let's address the elephant in the room. How much money are we talking about? Even entry-level positions like a roustabout can make between $50,000 and $70,000 a year. Move up to a driller and you're looking at $80,000 to $120,000. Engineers can pull in $100,000 to $150,000. And the offshore installation manager can earn $150,000 to $250,000 or more. Why does it pay so well? Simple. It's dangerous, it's isolating, and it's incredibly demanding. But this is how America rewards hard work and dedication. The money is the incentive. And for many workers, especially those from small towns across the heartland, this is life-changing income. They can pay off debt, buy a house, send their kids to college, and live the American dream. Now let's talk about food, because when you're stuck on a floating platform for a month, food becomes incredibly important for morale. Most rigs have a full galley staffed by 4 to 6 professional cooks, many of them from the South, where good cooking runs in the blood. They're cooking from scratch 3 meals a day for 200 people. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are served buffet style. The menu is hearty and high-calorie, true American comfort food. Eggs, bacon, pancakes for breakfast. Burgers, steaks, chicken, pasta for lunch and dinner. There's usually a salad bar, a dessert station, and unlimited coffee. Food supplies are brought in weekly by supply vessels. Workers consistently say the food is one of the best parts of being offshore. Good food keeps spirits high and reminds them of home. Let's shift gears and talk about what people actually do during their 12-hour shifts. Take a roughneck, for example. These are the guys working directly on the drill floor, handling massive pieces of equipment, connecting drill pipe, operating heavy machinery. The drill pipe itself can weigh thousands of pounds. Everything is slippery from oil and water. The noise is deafening. A swinging pipe can crush a limb. A slip can send you off the platform. This is why roughnecks have one of the highest injury rates of any job in the world. But they do it anyway. They're tough, resilient, and proud of the work they do. Then you've got the driller inside the drill shack, monitoring gauges, controlling the drilling speed. It's less physical but incredibly technical. One wrong decision and you could cause a blowout, where oil and gas surge uncontrollably to the surface. That's a nightmare scenario that can lead to explosions and deaths. Then you have crane operators, electricians, mechanics, medics, ROV pilots controlling underwater robots. Every single person has a critical role. They work as a team, watching each other's backs, because out here, you're all brothers and sisters. What about free time? Most modern rigs have some recreational facilities. A gym, a TV room with satellite television where workers catch football games on Sundays, maybe a small library, board games, a pool table. But let's be honest, you're exhausted after a 12-hour shift. A lot of workers just eat, shower, and crash. Communication with home is possible, but limited. Most rigs have satellite internet, but it's slow and rationed. You might get 30 minutes to an hour per day to send emails or make a video call to your wife and kids back in Houston or Mobile. Some rigs have phone booths. You learn to cherish those brief moments of connection. Hearing your daughter's voice, even for 5 minutes, keeps you going. It's one of the hardest parts of the job, the isolation and homesickness. But these workers endure it because they know they're providing for their families. Let's talk about safety, because that's the #1 priority on any American rig. Before you even set foot on the platform, you go through extensive safety training, fire safety, helicopter underwater escape training, emergency procedures. Once you're on the rig, there are constant drills. Fire drills, man overboard drills, abandoned platform drills. Fire is the biggest fear on an oil rig. You're surrounded by flammable materials. The most infamous example is the Piper Alpha disaster in 1988. An oil rig in the North Sea caught fire, and 167 workers died. It remains the deadliest offshore disaster in history. That tragedy changed the industry forever. American companies learned from it, and today, U.S. offshore rigs have some of the strictest safety standards in the world. Modern rigs have state-of-the-art fire suppression systems, but fire is still terrifying because there's nowhere to run. Then there's the weather. Offshore rigs face some of the most brutal conditions on the planet. Hurricanes rolling in from the Gulf, massive storms with waves that can reach 30, 40, even 50 feet high. The rig is designed to handle it, engineered to withstand forces that would destroy most structures. But riding out a major storm is no joke. Operations shut down. The rig sways and creaks. Waves crash over the lower decks. You're just hoping the engineers who designed this masterpiece knew what they were doing. And they did. American rigs stand strong. Medical emergencies are another challenge. Every rig has a medic with a small clinic, but if someone has a heart attack or severe injury, they need to be airlifted off immediately. If the weather's bad and helicopters can't fly, you're in trouble. Out there, you're on your own until help can arrive, but the crew takes care of each other. That's the culture on these rigs. The 28 days on, 28 days off rotation defines this lifestyle. For a lot of workers, it's actually a huge perk. Yes, you're gone for a month, but then you're home for a full month. You can coach your son's Little League team, take your family on vacation, work on your truck. Some workers love it. Others find it incredibly difficult. Being away from your spouse for a month can strain marriages. Missing birthdays, your kids' school events. It takes a toll. Some workers eventually burn out and leave the industry. But many stay for years, even decades, because they believe in what they're doing. They're proud to be part of America's energy independence. One thing that's fascinating is how self-sufficient these rigs are. They generate their own power using massive diesel generators or gas turbines. They produce their own fresh water using desalination systems. Waste management is handled on the rig as well. Everything has to be carefully managed because there's no city infrastructure out here. The rig is its own little world, a testament to American ingenuity and self-reliance. So after 28 days, when it's finally time to leave, what's that like? For most workers, it's the best feeling in the world. The flight back to shore feels like freedom. You get to see your family, sleep in your own bed, do whatever you want. But as the month goes on, some workers start to feel the pull of the rig again. The routine, the camaraderie, even the challenge of the work, it gets under your skin. And before you know it, you're heading back out. The life of an offshore oil rig worker is not for everyone. It requires physical toughness, mental resilience, and a willingness to sacrifice time with loved ones. But for those who can handle it, it offers incredible financial rewards and a unique sense of purpose. These 200 people living on a $3 billion structure in the middle of the ocean are doing one of the toughest jobs on the planet. They are the reason America remains an energy powerhouse. They keep our nation running, one 12-hour shift at a time, and they deserve our deepest respect. If you're proud of these American workers, type respect in the comments below.